And aloha early, mother fathers. Welcome in another episode of the Side Hustle Podcast. YouTube, TikTok, X, now on Instagram, even though my partner over here, Double A Anthony Alford, decided to get us banned right away. And we have
I did not decide to get us banned, okay? We were just banned. I mean, the first day, I can't even follow you on the new Instagram.
I made
follow
one,
us.
Yeah, for support.
Follow us at Side Hustle Podcast 216 on Instagram. Follow us.
Yeah.
But if we try to follow back, and it ain't happening. I'm trying to pull up real quick. We got a lot to get to, by the way, of the
But
show.
this message was hilarious because he just made it. It was less than a day after Double A made it because we were talking about expanding a little bit and getting more involved in social media. I'm begrudgingly running the new Facebook page now again, Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast 216.
Where is this freaking picture I sent you?
We've had a lot of stuff going on the past couple days.
Oh, here it is. This, mind you, I started this account at like 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And I get this message at 5 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
4 hours in.
Your account has been temporarily blocked from taking this action. Sharing your account with a service that helps you get more likes or followers goes against our company guidelines. This block will expire on July 10th. Tell us if you think we made a mistake.
You did. Who did you
It says okay, and then the second option is let us know. So I clicked on let us know several times. You're not going to see it on here, but I clicked on it several times, let us know, and it's like, oh, okay, well, all right, thank you. Thank you for the feedback.
So who'd you try and follow that made you...
I don't know if it was a follow. It might have been a post. It might have been. It might have been like a hashtag that I used.
Oh, like ratings or something like that.
I don't know.
There's
I
like
would give
promotion.
you a case study, but it was only 4 hours in.
That's nuts.
So like I tried to follow like some of the wrestlers.
Yeah.
And it said that I followed them, but then when I went back and actually checked, nope, wrong, didn't happen.
Nice.
So there you go. Fans, support us at Side Hustle Podcast 216 on Instagram. Please follow us. You never know. By this time next week, the page might be down.
Yeah, blow it up so much that we have to take it down because it's too much traffic for Instagram.
It's amazing.
Let's make that happen.
The Instagram didn't even last any longer than the time Rhea Ripley was out. I mean,
it was about half the length of a normal AEW pay-per-view. It was crazy.
Man. They have more pay-per-view matches than I had post before I was banned.
It's true.
It's just amazing.
You only had like 6.
I worked hard on those 6, transferring a few from the TikTok, but I worked hard. You got a 7-step process, got to set the whole thing up. You want to release the Instagram when it's ready, but people, are following anyway, even though you have a blank page, but thank you. We do appreciate it. All right, let's move here. I'm so frustrated with that. I need BA Sweeties. Actually, I'm sorry I was late. I was just coming from there right before. And it was my buddy Tom. He loved our buddy. Loved the CLE Connect jersey for the first place Cleveland Guardians. But I was just over there saying hello. And our sweet moment of the week brought to you by BA Sweeties. I guess my question, when Dominic Mysterio comes to Cleveland for SummerSlam, who is he taking to BA Sweeties? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Liv Morgan or the returning Rhea Ripley. Now, before we get to your thoughts, Kyle, the end of the show was cut off.
Again.
Was cut off.
Almost like on purpose they're doing this.
It was just crazy. So we have for you exclusive footage brought to you by WWE. This also aired everywhere outside the United States of what happened at the end of Raw. This is exclusive footage from WWE. Let's take a look at it right now.
fuck about it. Fuck this shit, I'm out. There was a little push at the end for me.
Yeah.
The little push at the end was great.
Courtesy of Fightful Wrestling, who posted that from WWE for the credit. I gotta say this, Kyle. Dominic has a point. Where's Ripley? Where was Rhea the last 3 months? You know, he was trying his best to
Was he though?
usher out this temptation.
Was he though?
And then all of a sudden, Rhea comes back and she has a problem with him.
Yeah.
I think Dominic has a point. He said it right there at the end. I tried to straighten it all out while you were gone. She didn't have to be gone. It wasn't like, he was supposed to honor a code system or something for the 3 months that she was gone. He was trying to hold things down. It's tough out here in these streets.
Would you say that like they were like it felt like they were really like connected and like almost kind of like married in storyline in WWE? It kind of felt like they were so intertwined, right?
You could say that.
You could say that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if I'm in the military and if I get deployed for 9-10 months, it's hard out here in these streets, right?
Oh, no, don't bring up the military. That's different
See
now.
how fucked your point is?
No, that's different. No,
he's
no,
he's
no.
a human
We're not
piece of
talking
trash.
about-
Dominic Mysterio
No.
is a human piece of trash.
Okay.
I don't care how hot
No,
Liv Morgan
no.
is. You don't do that.
First of all,
You get stomped out, boy.
First of all, who's his father figure? Okay,
The
number
guy who's
one.
been married loyally for the past 35
number
years
one.
and has never done anything wrong.
Number one, his father figure is a deadbeat dad. That's number one.
He's a good father. He's a good husband.
You'd be a great husband and a terrible father, and he is. Matter of fact,
How dare he buy
that's another thing.
his son a Bentley instead of a BMW?
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? Let me get this
I
straight.
just wanted a car in high school.
I would have took an upgraded bike. Well, let me tell you this.
Schwinn.
You mean to tell me right now, at some point in your manhood and your journey to adulthood, you need guidance. Like this is tough times right now for Dom Mysterio. Tough go at it. He gets booed out there every single week. It's a tough go at it.
If only he had 4 other people in a group that could help him along. Oh, wait, he does.
What? Hold up.
But none of them have a vagina, so that obviously means they can't help
Hold
him.
up. Were they really helping?
Finn,
Was Carlito really helping?
Finn was trying to help originally.
I think Finn's playing around himself.
Maybe.
I think Finn is being the demon himself.
I mean,
You think Carlito was helping? Looks pretty hard to me. You think he was helping? J.D. McDonough? Okay, I'll give you Damian Priest. But even Damian Priest was like, I'm focused on the World Championship. You know? And there is a thing about, was Priest sounding like Dominic's father? Okay, I get it. But was all 4 of them helping? No.
well, he was trying to be Poppy. Rhea's mommy, Priest is Poppy, right? That's how it goes. And everyone else is kind of just floundering around like a school of fish.
I don't know.
Like a consolation school, these fucking delinquents.
So if you missed it, the Dom held on tight. He held on. He finally got the W against his father,
Finally
against
beat
his
him.
deadbeat dad.
It wasn't a tag team match, but that's fine.
He delivered.
He pinned Rey Mysterio.
He pinned Rey Mysterio,
First time.
and he almost broke right then and there. Almost broke. 3 months in.
Imagine if Rhea's music did not hit.
I don't think we have to
We
imagine.
would have got Edge and Lita 2.0.
Oh, we could have. We could have.
Where's the satin sheets?
I think, yeah. Oh boy. Look. By the way, I'm not going to mention it here, but I'll just say this. I think. Look, Dom needed guidance. He needed guidance.
Oh boy.
He didn't get it. So why is Rhea Ripley mad in the first place? I understand clearly being mad at Liv Morgan, clearly. And they're going to have the championship match, we assume, at SummerSlam. No reason to be mad at Dom. Where were you?
So, because she hurt her shoulder, got married in real life, and needed to take a few months off because she carried the division for the past few years, she was gone 2 months, 2.5 months, whatever it's been. That gives Dom the right to fall with the girl that injured him.
He wasn't trying to fall. He wasn't trying to fall in love with her. He wasn't trying.
He didn't try hard enough to get away.
What else do you want him to do?
He's taking gifts. He's
Kyle,
doing all
what
this
else
stuff.
do you want him to do?
Be a fucking man.
He
Throw
was
some
trying
balls.
to.
The mustache is pretty thick, Dom. What are you going to do about it?
You need to trim that mustache.
Shave that shit. It was a chant.
You need
It was a
to shave
chant
that
in
mustache.
Toronto to shave that mustache.
Yeah, you need to shave that mustache.
That carpet muncher.
Yeah, you got a porn stash there, buddy. You need to shave
Pung.
it. But
Like
what else
Tom
was he
Selleck.
supposed to do? He held off for 3 months or 2.5 months. He held off. Did Rhea ever call him? No.
He said he talked to her.
Oh boy.
Right? He said that Rhea's pissed, but she's cool now. She's cool. So he was lying. He never even tried to even reach out to her and say, "Do you see what's going on? What do I do?" He didn't want guidance. He wanted that attention. He wanted the me. Who's giving it to me? Liv's giving it to me. I'm giving it to Liv now. Hence the hamstring stretch.
Well, we'll talk more about what's next with the Judgment Day coming up in a little bit, but that's the sweet moment of the week. Just, by the way, the reaction when Rhea came out, the reaction for the fans, just already Rhea Ripley coming back. She's already probably either the most popular or second most popular babyface, at least as far as like returning in. We don't know how the story's going to follow up, but the fans have missed her.
One point before we talk a little bit more about BA Sweetie, which I can't wait to, but to me this feels a little rushed. I get they wanting to have the match at SummerSlam. I think the story was more of, let's see Dom fully give in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see Dom fully embrace Liv, not almost get there.
He needed to be. I 100% agree with you there. He needed to fold fully.
Because now Rhea's going to come back, and now the question is, again, at SummerSlam, whose corner is Dom really going to be in? There's the angle to play that story, which they kind of have to now because they can't play it like, okay, Liv's already with Dom. They're together. She's incorporated in the Judgment Day. And then Rhea comes back at SummerSlam after Liv gets help defending her title again against Zelina or whoever they want. It would have been nice to give someone else that platform. Yeah. Because Rhea doesn't really need it. Well, but I understand obviously getting the biggest names on the card
right.
too. So.
And the other factor that's like, wait a minute. In storyline terms, Damian Priest made the phone call to Rhea Ripley. So if he didn't make that phone call, was she showing up?
This could all feed into too the whole thing I told you about where Priest and Rhea kind of end up being separated in Judgment Day. Maybe Finn decides to take over. Liv comes in. I mean,
we could, and we'll explore the possibilities of all of that coming up on the show. But again, your sweet moment of the week brought to you by BA Sweeties. Oh, I forgot the graphic the whole time. There you go. Look at that.
What an angle.
Look at the. Dom immediately went back into submission mode, basically. Mm-hmm. The moment she came back out.
Yeah, because he was fucked.
Yeah, he was.
Rhea does a great job, by the way. She's like 5'6", 5'7". She feels bigger than every male superstar on the roster.
She does.
And it's insane. She's average, a little bit above average height for a woman, and she's still just like, I'm not saying it matters. I'm just saying that her presence is so it towers over people. Like Dom's 6'1", 6'2". Mm-hmm. He looks small next to Rhea. Not just because she's also jacked, but also because she has that like.
He was brought down in size. He was brought down. Rhea Ripley.
Well, he went from this.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Real quick. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
And then it went inside for a minute.
Yeah, he did.
When he actually heard the music.
Yeah, just you even felt it too. Like when that music, like oh. No.
I felt something, but I can't talk about it on air.
It felt. It was crazy. Sweet moment of the week, Rhea Ripley's return. That's 3 of the last 4 weeks we've done this element that has featured returns.
Yeah. Well, you got to figure the time of the year, too. We're gearing up towards SummerSlam. We're seeing a lot of these people either debut or make returns in, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's that time. It's the summer. It's the WrestleMania of the summer, right? It's where we're going to see a huge show. We're grateful for it to be here in Cleveland too, which is awesome. And speaking of being in Cleveland, there's a place that's number one, not even just in the Northeast Ohio area, not even in the country, but in all North America.
It might be number one in therapy for Dominic Mysterio with all the stuff he's going through. But the
Get
largest
your sweets.
largest candy store in North America, right here in Cleveland, Ohio, BA Sweeties. There's the address right up top. If you're listening to us, and thank you, we're actually the most listened to month that we've had on the show.
Yeah.
So thank you.
The audio version. Who would have thought on a video podcast, you suckers?
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate that. It's
which
great.
you can have at BA Sweeties, of course. Again, 6770 Brook Park Road in Cleveland, Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit, and make that left turn on Brook Park Road. In a giant lollipop, you turn right there. And, you have the candy store, which is, again, as we mentioned, the largest in North America. You could get
candy, popcorn,
everything,
anything you want. So many different varieties at any point in time. Over 180,000 different kinds of candy bars. Yeah. 200 different kinds of soda, 30 different kinds of homemade popcorn. That's right down the road in Strongsville, Ohio. They ship it over to us over here in the corner of Cleveland and again Parma right there on Brook Park Road. And I'll tell you what, man, it's phenomenal. The putt-putt's awesome.
It is.
Had a chance to
speaking
go do
of
that.
putt-putt, I have a little challenge over for our counterparts over at Voice of the Land.
I know nothing about this, by the way, so.
I have a little challenge here. Look, you guys are the sports podcast of the LPV Productions Radio Production Network. But guess what? I don't know if you guys got what it takes at putt-putt. So we're throwing down a challenge right now.
It's a challenge.
We're throwing it down.
We're throwing it down.
Side Hustle Podcast versus Voice of the Land at BA Sweeties Putt-Putt.
Yeah.
We're throwing it down.
Yeet.
So get your telestrator. Get your game planning going.
Game planning.
Whatever
X's and O's.
Whatever X's and O's you feel like you need. Because guess what? Guess what? Guess what? The Side Hustle Podcast is coming for you.
You.
And it starts at BA Sweeties. It starts at the putt-putt. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to be there the 18th. Tiger Hood's in the building. Just go right there. Just pew. You have the little.
You hear that? That's the sound of it. Drop it in the cup.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that? It's called Hello Friends. Double A. Kyle Cornell.
That's me.
Side Hustle Podcast.
That's us.
Live from the 18.
Damn right.
At BA Sweeties.
Knock it down.
Knocking them balls down.
One by one.
Watching y'all catch up from the 15.
Oops.
Oopsies. But it's cool, though.
Ice cold.
It's cool. We can all get a milkshake right after from BA Sweeties.
Damn good.
After we knock you down.
Damn right.
All right, let's hear more from BA Sweeties. Double A Anthony Alfred here for Sweeties, a family destination satisfying sweet tooths in Northeast Ohio on Brook Park Road for over 74 years. The largest candy store in North America with 40,000 square feet stacked to the rafters with over $5 million in inventory. Come down to Sweeties today on Brook Park Road at Ridge. Just look for the giant lollipops. We're not kidding either. We're not kidding.
Oh, my God. That was probably the dumbest thing we've done on the show so far. I should take that back. You were good. I was
live from the 18. There he is.
Holy shit.
Mr. Alfred. Lining up the putt. Right there at the... By the way, fresh turf, fresh carpet. At the putt-putt.
Fresh outdoor carpet.
Fresh. Lining there.
Forest green.
The other families observing the dominance of the Side Hustle Podcast on the putt-putt. Ooh. Jim Nance will be proud.
This is becoming an ASMR podcast now.
Jim Nance will be proud.
What do you think, Slothy?
Who you got? You got the Side Hustle Podcast?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he does.
He's quiet, but when he speaks up, you hear him.
he does.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Voice of the Land, I expect an answer. Kevin, Always Positive Jay. I expect the answer very shortly, very soon.
If that's your real names. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I like it. Oh, yeah, man.
By the way, he lost the championship. Trick Williams lost the championship.
Heatwave Sunday. Yeah.
Oh man.
We'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. It's a little crazy. Make sure Voice of the Land gets that tape. Make sure they get a piece.
Oh, I'll tag them in it on TikTok. Well, we're gonna make it a thing.
We'll also talk more about Judgment Day and kind of what's next for that going forward. All right. I did not put the women's Money in the Bank in one of the core segments of the show last week.
It's because you're a sexist.
And I regret it.
Yeah. Double A hates women. Don't forget it.
Okay. It was an all-time great women's Money in the Bank match.
Actually, was pretty good.
It was really good. And full credit. Look, Chelsea Green deserves her flowers for taking that freaking bump.
Pete, can you go back to the 2-shot? So
for taking this bump.
For Pete, for your reference too, that ladder is the tallest ladder they have. It's probably about 15 to 20 feet tall. She was at the very top. She went over the ropes, out of the ring, through 2 tables.
And she took the bump clean.
And it was perfect.
It was unbelievable.
She walked away, which was impressive considering that's a crazy-ass bump. But that's what you do when you do it once in a match, this kind of bump. They have a couple different ones they did, but this one big table spot. You don't need to do, everyone's going through a fucking table, and 5 minutes later they're jumping out.
What a maneuver!
She didn't get up after that.
Yeah, no.
Obviously. Because they're not fucking stupid at that company.
Well, think about the spot beforehand with Io. Like, when she was folded.
Io and Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
They didn't get back up.
Was just folded.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Falcon Arrow on a ladder, a Michinoku driver on a ladder. Yeah.
Kyle, we mentioned something last week where we kind of previewed this match a little bit, and we both watched it. We watched the show.
Yeah.
You got women in this match who were all hungry to make a statement. Actually, that was the running theme of this entire pay-per-view. Young guys and girls who have not really, they've been exposed to the main roster. They've had a run on the main roster, but haven't been really given a spotlight to shine. Every one of them, even Carmelo Hayes, shined. As far as selling, as far as when they were given a green light to be in the spotlight in the match, they all shine. And Chelsea Green, over these last few months, I mean, she's been given a character, but not really much to work with. She's been pretty much a sidekick. In her role, but she has really, really impressed as far as promotion, as far as, again, the moves that she was able to execute, and, again, just agreeing to do this and to do it well, the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And kudos also to Tiffany Stratton for also executing this well.
For winning.
And for winning the match, which we'll get to in a second. But overall, Kyle, just an unbelievable, just a phenomenal match, the women's Money in the Bank.
I don't know how many slides you have, but I mean, all of them. The matches throughout the weekend, I mean, it was all great. Even through NXT's pay-per-view, they really didn't have a bad match. I mean, everything worked out really well. The stories were told. Things made a lot of sense. In this situation, too, it was when you took those bumps, it wasn't okay, we're gonna do 5 more things with them. Like, no, they're done. Like, that's insane. That's car crash. That's you're out. You're done. These ladder matches usually are just a big car crash. And again, it's sometimes having 2 in one show could be a little much. It's weird placement wise how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
They found a way to do it where it wasn't terrible, but at the same point, I mean, there wasn't a bad performance in either one, the men's or the women's. Everyone did really well. Chelsea Green stood out. Obviously, we know people like Io Sky were going to. I think Zoe Stark took some really crazy shit too.
She did, and she was involved in a big angle on Raw.
She was
as well too.
That's huge. Yeah, with her and Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler. Hopefully, they actually let them be what they need to be because they're all legitimately could kick the shit out of most people on the roster, men or women. But on the men's side too, you mentioned too. Obviously, Carmelo Hayes, fantastic. I mean, you expect it. at that point. You expect this kind of performance from some of these guys. Even the younger ones we've seen kind of grow through NXT. I mean, they're showing off now. And Chelsea Green, again, hasn't got a lot of time to be serious.
Exactly.
And she's a damn good wrestler.
And that's what I'm most impressed about, is because she hasn't been given an opportunity as much to be serious.
Yeah.
And heck, even a story that was told from her perspective in this match, that she was actually afraid of heights. So she first got the small ladder. She first actually tried to use the small ladder to try to tip the briefcase so it fell down.
It's latched on, Chelsea. You can't do that.
I can't do that. All right, cool. We'll get the bigger ladder. All right, it has to be positioned perfectly, because that's realistic too. When you're doing ladders, not every one of us is Jeff Hardy. We don't just climb up the ladder. You want to make sure the ladder is perfectly placed, it's balanced, it's steady. You want to make sure it's at the right spot, not across the room. So it all has to make sense. And it did for her to take that spot. After, again, being afraid of heights, she was that close to winning it all, winning the Money in the Bank. But in my opinion, Kyle, they booked the correct winner with Tiffany Stratton. Her rocket right now, ever since entering the main roster, she has showed out in the ring, on the microphone, behind the scenes. But as I mentioned on social media, her situation and Drew McIntyre's situation are completely different. Tiffany Stratton does not need the women's championship right now.
Well, it's a bigger story they're telling with her and Nia that leads you to believe that Bayley's probably going to lose to Nia at SummerSlam. And then obviously this whole Nia-Tiffany thing is going to be a thing they'll watch for a while, I would assume. Because Tiffany's not going anywhere. And I would assume Nia's not either, because who's going to beat her for it? Unless they decide to throw Bianca or, Jade, or even possibly Charlotte when she returns, if she's on SmackDown. I think she might be. I don't know. But, I mean, it's who fucking knows. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not upset with it. Tiffany made sense. The Drew thing, for, like we said before, and you put this point out, and I actually really agree with you on it, too. Like, who is cashing in on who for that Money in the Bank? Like, the person beating Cody Rhodes for the title will most likely be Bloodline related. Whether it's, Solo or Jacob for 2, or Roman Reigns at some point again, or The Rock or whoever. On the other side, the World Heavyweight title is going to be just logjam with Seth Rollins and Punk and McIntyre and Gunther and possibly Priest now. They just keep throwing him a bone every time.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, there's no real avenue besides that to go, because no one else has it. And you're not going to do the bullshit again where LA Knight wins it and then he cashes in on the U.S. champ.
No.
He's already got a U.S. title match coming up probably at SummerSlam. He doesn't need to do that. Don't do the same mistake like with Austin Theory cashing in for the U.S. title. It was dumb.
Yeah, again, the story is what matters.
It's like if I get a huge paycheck from work, I earned it, right? I worked my ass off. I earned it. It's a $50,000 paycheck. And there's a $48,000 beautiful brand new Toyota Tundra sitting in the front. But then I buy the Volkswagen Beetle for $20,000 on the side. And I don't get to keep the extra money. I have to give it back to the company.
Oh, yeah, no.
Why the fuck would you do that?
No.
Yeah, you don't. That's why you don't cash in on mid-card titles.
No.
Like, the whole point of this thing was to shoot people up and give them a push to the main spotlight. Some people maybe that were underserved and deserved that spotlight. Chris Jericho in 2005, 2006, like when he was, kind of felt like he was going down a little bit. What are we doing with Chris? Let's push him back up.
Yeah.
CM Punk won it multiple times. A lot of these people that have won it got into the main event scene, or at least got familiar with it. You want to keep that trend. Obviously, Drew made a lot of sense there. It wasn't the year for someone to cash in. Maybe next year.
And remember, too, this is not a situation, and this is the benefit of having a men's and women's Money in the Bank, where you could have, and we've seen it in years past, where the women, the female, same night.
It happened for like 3 or 4 years straight.
Yeah.
And they kept winning it, too.
They kept winning it.
So, like, hey, we're going to, flip Roleverse now. Men are going to do this because there's no real story out of that. And then women Tiffany can hold it.
And remember this, too, Kyle, and I think all of us remember this. This is the exact opposite of what they did with Damian Priest. Damian Priest, who held that Money in the Bank seemingly forever.
Through to WrestleMania.
seemingly
10 months.
forever.
He held it for 10 months.
And to be frank,
he held it for 10 minutes.
I don't want. I didn't want to see that again this year.
No.
Maybe next year if the story fits.
Situationally, yeah.
You know, that's when you want to see it. I think the bigger point too. I think people sometimes, and I understand, I get it. Some people are married to the stipulation. They're married to what they want, what it means, right? And I understand. You don't. For example, if it was the very first Money in the Bank, and then the person, if Chris Jericho or whoever, or who was the first? Edge. Let's say Edge won the first Money in the Bank and then cashed in that night at Mania 21 against John Cena and lost. Well, yeah, then you blew a gimmick. But we've been doing Money in the Bank now for almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
Like, you could do different scenarios.
I think next year will be the 20th anniversary of Money in the Bank.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you could do different scenarios, and you can also fine-tune. I think, for example, the King of the Ring this past year, I think the tournament's been great. The tournaments were great. The only issue I'm finding now, the winners, I think both of them, Nia Jax and Gunther, like both of the winners have pretty much been a little bit of a log jam until SummerSlam. You know, like we haven't really we've seen Nia a little bit more, but
Gunther's been like off TV.
Which is crazy.
Hey, vacation. He was wrestling every single week, 3 to 4 times a week. Like so, I get like now.
But I like what they did on Raw though. Like now they're doing this whole
package,
rollback, and I didn't realize like, holy smokes, he then took off some weight since 2019, and they're gonna tell that story.
Future champion, probably. So, I mean, that's... Well, then again, we said that about Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn, too, and Sami's still champion. So, I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
I'm not thrilled about that.
But, well, just wait.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But both Money in the Bank matches, both lived up to the hype. We'll see what they do with Tiffany Stratton. And we're seeing what they're doing with Drew McIntyre. And the bigger story was this.
Yeah, Punk decided to come back. It's bullshit. He's cleared. I don't want to hear people. He's not cleared yet. Like they're waiting to officially announce it until a week or two before to build suspense. But everyone knows this match is coming. Now the fun part is Drew's going to win that match because Seth's going to interfere.
Oh, you know what they're doing now. This is the
slow build to.
This is Punk's not in the building. Drew, you can come in. Oh, we can't have them in the building at the same time until like the final Raw before SummerSlam. Like that's what's gonna happen. And it's fine. I mean, it's cool. But now's the time. Now you cannot wait any longer. You had a theory earlier in the week about maybe they could possibly save Punk and McIntyre for a long,
It's possible because of Rollins being thrown into this because again, Seth doesn't really have plans for SummerSlam right now. And he had that little on Raw a couple days ago. He had the little back and forth with Priest who said, hey, you can challenge. We can forget it, which is fine. And through SummerSlam, he doesn't have a program. So it leads me to believe Drew's supposed to come back next Monday. Seth's going to be there. Seth may tell Drew, you're going to wait because I'm taking care of Punk at SummerSlam or some bullshit. I don't know. I feel like now the problem with Seth and Punk is that the bigger match is Punk and Drew. Honestly.
At this moment.
The bigger match at the biggest stage at WrestleMania, Punk and Drew for the World Heavyweight title would be, I think, bigger. And I think you keep playing into this. They keep getting their hands on each other here and there. But they just can't get a match. They can't.
But they could always circle. They could always circle back. Like they could meet up now or SummerSlam, and you could always WrestleMania is 9 months from now. You could always come back to that match. We're at a point right now, though. Literally, Punk is going to do nothing else until he fights Drew, and Drew McIntyre is going to do nothing else. Like Drew McIntyre tried to move on. He tried. Even after what happened to Scotland, he tried to move on. Hey, I'm going to This is BS. That what happened.
While simultaneously going and attacking him on SmackDown, but I get your point.
But yeah, that's why I'm saying he tried. Like, all right, I'm going to go after the Money in the Bank, win the briefcase, and as soon as he won the briefcase, all right, I ain't waiting. I'm getting that championship. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it tonight. But Drew, right? These two are so far gone. They are so far deep into it that they have to face each other. But you're right. The curveball to all this is Seth Rollins.
What does he do? Like,
does he force almost? See, but here's the other thing. I don't want a triple threat.
You may have no choice.
I know.
Because, okay, so what happens with Drew and Seth on Monday, if they do intertwine, will be huge. Because Drew's on a warpath, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to just kill everybody. He's pissed. So Seth gets in his way.
And Seth's not going to lay down.
Of course not.
Yeah, he's not going to lay down.
So, and they have a history too. Drew and Seth do. So, I mean, they just fought for the World Heavyweight title.
That's right,
so, I mean, there is something there. I'm sure maybe there's a little bit of neutral.
Arc too,
it was that WrestleMania arc.
Yeah.
So, revisiting that while bringing in Punk into the equation, they could even do it. It's Rollins and Drew, and will Punk get cleared in time to make it a triple threat? We'll see. We have to wait till the day of before he officially gets cleared. They could do a big social media announcement or whatever it is that Punk is officially cleared.
You could do that.
Because Rollins and McIntyre is a big enough match. Obviously, it was a championship match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does have enough pull there.
And Seth will still be, obviously, the babyface of that scenario.
And Seth could always argue, listen, I'm 100% this time.
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% at Mania. I got my ass kicked by the Bloodline the night before. You know, I was beat up. My knee was trashed. You know, I'm good, man. I am good. Like,
I mean, does Rollins? I mean,
where else is he gonna go?
There's no other place.
Does he get
to
involved
go.
with the Bloodline bullshit? Probably not.
No.
I think he's over that. I think they've got enough issues over there, and that's gonna be Roman's fish to fly.
Happening.
It's not gonna be his.
Yeah, that's not happening.
So I mean, I
there's
don't know.
no random young guy that's gonna. You know, that would be a downgrade at this point.
Unless Roman recruits Seth to join him and the Usos to fight the new Bloodline.
Yeah, but you figure if that happens, that would have to start formulating like right now.
Well, that could happen at SummerSlam.
Right. But
Roman could come out because we're assuming it's going to be Solo and versus Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Roman could come out with Jimmy. Jay could pop out, and then people are saying Sammy, but I mean Seth technically has more of a place, I think, in Roman's heart than Sammy does.
But I don't know if we're ready for, as you mentioned with the Judgment Day storyline, we might be a few pages away.
Yeah. Plus, Sammy's still a champion.
Exactly.
So I don't know if and Seth doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
At least for now.
You know
so,
what?
I mean,
I'm starting to think as we kind of talk this out. I think the likelihood of a triple threat
is probably really likely.
Is probably high.
I think maybe like the kickoff show on Friday because they have like that kickoff thing. Maybe that's when Punk officially gets cleared. At least they announce he gets. He's been cleared.
So the
build for a month and a half.
So the build is that. The build is
Punk going to be able to go.
The build is Seth versus Drew. We'll battle, but the idea
whoever wins gets Punk.
You can either do that, or if Punk is cleared, you get both. At SummerSlam, you get both. You could do that.
He could basically come out and say, "I'm cleared. Pierce, put me in the match." That kind of thing.
And from a health standpoint, if you don't fully trust Punk in a one-on-one match just yet, you could get away with a triple threat situation.
That way, it's more. Seth can take more of the punishment. So can Drew. Or they could always throw the wild card and just let Seth be the special guest referee if they don't want him to wrestle. I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch.
Could be.
Shit.
The story is this: Punk goes out. You know, he's focusing until I die, basically. Drew McIntyre's never winning another championship. CM Punk's locked in on Drew McIntyre. In the process, Seth Rollins couldn't get the job done. World Championship match. Which I know we love a lot of things that WWE has done lately. That World Championship, that cannot happen. That
Oh, the 2 count?
Yeah, that
I actually found out why. Believe it or not, a friend of the show, Bubba Ray Dudley, was talking about why he thinks this could happen. And the spot before that, I didn't see this. which we watched it. I probably should have been paying attention. But so Damian Priest picks up Seth Rollins in a suplex, or like in normal stalled suplex. Seth hits him with a knee in the head, then Falcon arrows him. So Bubba Ray said he saw Damian do this with his fingers when it was a 2 count. He said
there was movement there.
He's like it's possible that he just couldn't. He lost motor function for a second because he got knocked the fuck out. The knee looked like it was stiff. It's possible that when he got flipped over and turned around and landed, he couldn't move. So, but then he also said at that point, if it was old WWE, the referee's
counted 3.
He's counting to 3.
Referees counted 3.
And Seth's winning the championship, and then still you can cash in with McIntyre. But
because remember, I think in the Vince days, I don't know if it was the entire time or the latter half, but the referees, from what we were told, they weren't instructed on the finish. Like, it's 1, 2, for the most part.
It's different.
Unless it was like necessary for them to be involved.
I mean, the big matches, they probably knew what was going on because they're part of those meetings, I would imagine. But like, they also have earpieces, so they know like when timing cues, all that stuff. They give cues to wrestlers, and yeah, I mean that was. But he also said too. I love this quote from him. He said that the referee is the smoke in the mirrors. He's the one that really kind of makes them too, because he's able to put emphasis on the counts and do certain things and give them cues and get people along or tell them to speed up or slow down, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in a lose-lose spot there.
I'm not sure what else could have been done because other than do it correctly, the production, whatever. That's a split count. You expect the wrestler to kick out.
Well, McIntyre apparently wasn't supposed to interrupt the count. He wasn't supposed to, come out at 2 or at 1 or whatever it was. He was supposed to come out after the kick out.
And I would say if Seth Rollins was a heel, what he could have done.
Oh, bitched and moaned. He kind of did already.
He could. What I'm saying in that sequence, what he could have done. Heels do this. They'll 1, 2. They'll pick up the wrestler. Oh, he wants to teach him a lesson. But he's a babyface. He couldn't do that.
So even if he was a heel, I mean, unless Priest actively told him, but if he's knocked out, he can't do anything. He's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So he can't that's so split second too. Seth's in a weird pinning thing too, where he's doing it's the Falcon Arrow pin where he just has his leg or whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't make a lot of sense in that moment to try it if he could. So it's a tough spot. I mean, again, shit happens. If that's the only mistake we're talking about from an entire pay-per-view, that was, again, it could be a car crash with all the different ladder spots and all the bullshit. I mean, you get that 3 or 4 times a match in AEW because there's no. I ain't comparing the two, but I mean, like when people say, "Oh, well, you're not shitting on WWE, but you shit on AEW." Well, they do it
for a second.
every single time.
Hold up, I think Pete's watched enough AEW now to understand the.
They bury the referee in every single one of those matches. Don't watch a tag team match in AEW because there are no rules. You can basically do whatever the fuck you want. Period. And the referee's too busy being on the legal team and caring about her image than actually refereeing a match properly. But whatever. I mean, it's going into business for themselves. These guys didn't. They tried to actually keep the story moving as opposed to just being like, all right, well, fuck. I can respect that, but it does peel back the curtain a little bit, unfortunately, on the situation of what it is.
Yeah. Well, speaking of somebody who went into the business for himself, I'm kidding.
He's not going to show up again until January.
He ain't going to show up.
He's going to wait till fucking Netflix.
Gonna wait till Netflix. He did say that. Yeah. He did say that.
He wants to be a part of it.
John Cena announces his retirement tour. Now, I have released my list of... Again, now, let's be clear about what, I guess, this all entails. This is going to be the entirety of 2025.
It's not just through WrestleMania. Apparently, he's going to go the entire year.
And he quote tweeted someone who kind of laid out kind of the brainstormed idea of what they're going for. So, with Cena. So, 35 to 40 dates in 2025, which contains basically TV and PLEs.
That's crazy too. Almost basically a full year.
I know.
At
40 dates is, if you really add it up.
He's getting his movie and shooting shit done now because next year he's gonna be busy.
Mm-hmm. And so that means he's gonna He's not going to wrestle, obviously, on all 40 dates. Not even close.
But he will do some.
But he will. He's going to get some critical matches in. He's going to face off against some key opponents.
Does he win another championship?
And that will be the big question. Will he? Well, not just another championship. You know which championship we're talking about.
World Heavyweight title.
Will he win championship number 17?
Yeah.
World title number 17.
Yeah.
Which I guess technically is the world title or the undisputed championship. Will he win number 17 next year? I don't know if that's a guarantee. Yes.
It depends, right? I mean, it has to depend on where the stories are at.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine the undisputed WWE title will be spoken for because it's going to be tied up with Cody and the bloodline and all that stuff, and he may get a shot at Cody.
That might be a little busy.
Maybe like SummerSlam next year, shot at Cody, possibly if Cody's still champion. Who knows? Maybe if Rock finds his way to that title, that's a good little nostalgia match they could have at like a SummerSlam or whatever, or a Saudi show or something like that. If they're going to give the title to Rock, though, he's got to be there like every week, so that's going to be tough. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it sucks for me because Cena's like he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. You grew up watching him. We started watching him when he first debuted with the whole Kurt Angle thing, and then obviously going through with the Doctor of Thugonomics stuff and the rapper and all that stuff. As a bustling preteen in Parma, Ohio, the thought of a young white rapper making it was such bullshit. But I mean, like it was cool.
You thought you lost it when Eminem went on hiatus.
Yeah, we didn't. But no, I mean, this is his entire career. He's obviously Michael Cole calls him the GOAT. I mean, he's on a lot of people's Mount Rushmores because of what he meant to the industry too. He kept WWE afloat. If it wasn't for John Cena and a lot of those dark years, we talk about like the late 2000s and 2010s.
Yeah.
This guy wasn't there. WWE might be in trouble right now.
Yeah.
There's no big deals. There's no Netflix deal. There's no big Fox deals. None of that shit because this guy was the main reason why a lot of people watched either to cheer or to boo or to hate him. A lot of people just watched the show.
He was the reason why The Rock came back in that time period. Like he was the reason. And Cena had to grow. We watched Cena grow up in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
Too. I guess the impact for me with John Cena, I mentioned this on our very first show. My older brother Will, my older cousins, they watched the Attitude Era and watched that. My dad watched WCW and the good days of WCW, Ric Flair and whatnot. And we have a lot of fans who watched, during the 80s. In the golden days, but John Cena, again, whether you loved him or not, John Cena was our guy for our generation. Mm-hmm. Like he was the guy that he was going to lead us along. Again, that entire OVW class with Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Batista in there. Shelton Benjamin was a part of that class too. But those core guys, that was our generation of guys.
Well, do you think about Orton and Cena are probably the two guys that are going to be, paired together forever now with what they actually accomplished during their careers too. And Randy still got a lot of time left.
Well,
and that's the one caveat, right? Well, that's the one caveat with him too. So Ric Flair had said that he loves John, he respects John. He wants Randy to break his record. Randy's got a little more work to do that than John does because John's tied.
How many title reigns does Randy have?
14.
14?
Yeah. Charlotte also has 14.
It's going to be that's going to be really tough for Randy. I don't think it'll happen. Charlotte maybe, but
you never know with Randy. It just depends on the way Triple H is booking.
Yeah, especially the way he's booking.
It's probably not likely. I think 15 is probably more. He may get one more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2 if he plays his cards right and gets hot at the right time. But
I think the shortest title reign you'll see under Triple H, I think, is 2 months. I think the Awesome Truth. That was probably where you're at as far as
what a time to pull that off, too, by the way. Right before Miz is about to come home.
Yeah, how about that?
Damn, well, he's going to look really good as the host of SummerSlam.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, Miz is gonna turn heel, so there you go. He's pissed at R-Truth now.
Does.
Yeah, right.
As he always does when he comes to Cleveland.
Well, to be fair, listen, I love Mike. I think he's awesome. I think John Cena said it. Documentary and stuff coming out, too, soon about Miz. Like, he's one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated talent based on everything he does.
Mm-hmm. The total package.
He's always there, too, which is nuts.
Well, and that's the best way to describe. See, you're right. He's right about Miz. 100% right. It's true about John Cena. John Cena, and I know we all know today what Vince McMahon, the disgrace that Vince McMahon is now. But John Cena is basically the embodiment of everything that Vince McMahon wanted in a wrestler. Pretty much everything. He's a guy who has the longevity that Hulk Hogan had in his heyday. That could make the kids happy. He's perfect for the children. Perfect.
Put the company first.
Puts the company first.
Before
always.
his own life for a long time, until recently when he started doing the movies and got married and all that stuff. Like, even his personal life with the Total Bellas bullshit or whatever it was, he was always in the spotlight with that when it came to WWE. And he always was wanted to, I'll do that extra appearance. I'll do that extra signing. I'll do this and do that. Like, I don't know how this guy sleeps.
The Make-A-Wish stuff is no joke.
No.
That is no joke.
I didn't even bring that up. Like, that's a lot of shit,
and
too.
Even when you got to the point where, like, corny Cena, like, corny, whatever, nobody ever criticized the Make-A-Wish part of it. Nobody. Because you understood, like, okay, this is...
how much he means to the kids.
This is the real deal. But what I meant was the total package. Longevity like Hulk Hogan. Being out there with the kids and families, being a family-first guy. The ability, and it didn't always show, but the ability to have charisma like The Rock.
Some would say more at some points.
At some points, yeah.
The Rock is a presence, but Cena had the
intensity of Stone Cold.
Yeah. It's at some points.
At some points. Again, when serious. The intensity of Stone Cold. And again, just overall, if you think of the Mount Rushmore of what Vince McMahon looked at,
just WWE Mount Rushmore, he's on there. Not maybe pro wrestling entirely. Some people have different views. We obviously posted ours a while ago, but I think he was on mine and yours, I want to say. But some people will say, yeah, it is. It's Rock, Austin, Hogan, and Flair, or whatever. Like, Cena, as a well-rounded character and as well-rounded like entertainer, like, he hit and checked pretty much every box. He could have that 5-star match, but he could also cut the great promo.
Mm-hmm.
He could, piss a lot of people off and get you to boo him, or he can get a lot of people to cheer.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for the past, ironically enough, it's been on since he's been on this losing streak, the past, 5 years or so, where people really started to appreciate him more when he showed up, because now we know this is going to be it.
And the cool thing is, and we're going to show a word from B.A. Sweeties here shortly, but on the other side of that, I'm going to show you, again, my list is not the end-all, be-all, like, these are the only names he's going to fight. He's going to fight a good chunk of people. But WrestleMania, SummerSlam, retirement match, which, if I had to guess, I know he said he's in for the full year. Let's be a little technical here. I think Survivor Series 2025 will probably be it.
Whenever his anniversary would be for his career, which I think he debuted, was it fall of 2002?
June of 2002.
Okay, so then maybe SummerSlam.
Maybe.
Where's it next year? They haven't announced yet.
No.
2 years from now, it's in Minnesota.
Yeah. So, when we come back, I'm going to show you the 3 names who I think he's going to face next year at critical events for John Cena.
And I'm going to judge Double A's picks.
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and retirement match. I think these 3, Cena always puts the company first, but these are going to be headline names, but also I guess this is a look into what I believe WWE and where I believe the opponents he's going to face are going to be at a year from now. And I think it's going to be something very interesting to see. Look at that humble man there. In my opinion, very underrated actor too.
He's pretty good.
He's.
Well, you finally watched Ricky Stenicki the other day.
Oh man, great movie.
It's really funny.
Great movie.
Hey, have you watched the Bray Wyatt documentary yet?
Not yet.
What a fucking bum.
Not yet.
And play the commercial.
Go ahead, Pete. Double A Anthony Alfred here for Sweeties. You know they're for candy, but did you know that they're a major popcorn manufacturer? Their brands are sold in every grocery store in Northeast Ohio. Want to talk about the varieties? They have 30 of them of gourmet popcorn under the Campbell's and All-American brands right here in their industrial kitchen on the Brook Park Road campus. The famous Humphrey popcorn balls and Olympia popcorn is made in Strongsville. Talk about fresh. Stop in at the Brook Park Road store or Sweetie's Olympia Treats in Strongsville for the freshest, best-tasting popcorn anywhere. Check out BA Sweeties, the largest candy store in Northeast Ohio. Sorry, I'm wrong. Not just Northeast Ohio, North America.
Continent, buddy.
And that's not a typo. That's the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we joke about this every week, but, again, I stopped in right before we came here to tape our show. You will get your steps in when you shop at the candy store and get your stuff. You have to get the classic Coke out of the glass bottle. You got to get it. You have to get it. There's something different about the classic pop out of the glass that you just don't get today anywhere else. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really cool.
It is.
Get that along with your different flavor of popcorn that's in there too.
Told you, man. That Buffalo Ranch was
you're all over that.
so good. Buffalo Ranch popcorn. It tastes sweet, but it still feels like you're eating something that's like a little bit of kick to it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, all over that.
There was like 5 bags left. I almost bought them all.
right.
Just being honest.
And one other cool thing too about the putt-putt, where we will see Voice of the Land as they wait their answer.
Yeah. Because we posed the question.
Yeet.
Yeet.
But the early bird special, that was good. The early bird special, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's summertime, so I know, you got, kids are at home.
Waking up early, still on that school schedule. Tweet, mother father. Get your ass down to the putt-putt. Play that shit. It's great.
Get the putt-putt. Get the putt-putt. 2 different courses. Got the one for the families and whatnot. And if you're an expert at putt-putt, like Kyle and yours truly, you'll be at the other course. And while others will be with the Voice of the Land at the other course. But there you go. I'm just gonna. They're gonna respond, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
They're gonna respond.
That requires a backbone, Double A.
Wow. They have that. I'm gonna give them that credit.
I have not seen any bones.
Oh,
no spines. That. They could just be walking around like electric eels. I have no idea. Just wiggling. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Honey, where you going? I gotta go to play putt-putt. These 2 assholes that were gonna. They said I was an electric eel. I have to go beat him. I don't. And make him leave his kids.
Oh,
his beautiful newborn baby.
Oh God!
To come catch these hands.
Oh man!
On the putt-putt course.
Monday through Friday, the early birds. You can go to putt-putt at any point in time, by the way. Any point.
Take advantage, though, of the earlier times. Get you out a little bit earlier because we know, hey, we talked about it, too. It's been hot. Past couple days, this week, even throughout so far, the early part of the summer, we're kind of like at the, what do you call it, the midway point of like summer vacation for a lot of the kiddos and stuff, too. But
a lot of vacation time.
Gets hot. A little bit like in the middle part of the day. This is a chance to get out. Maybe a little bit before then, too. You can do that. Then you can go in the pool afterwards, have some fun, do that kind of thing. But great place to stop and have some fun before it gets too hot outside.
Yeah, and you might see Dominic Mysterio now, who he might be shopping with. We don't know.
It's going to be sitting on one of those things.
It might be nobody. It might be a solo shopper the way he's been acting.
That'd be a great meme of him just like playing putt-putt by himself.
Should be. That'd be great. So, as I said before the break, we talked about it. John Cena, he's going to have a farewell retirement tour in 2025. It's not going to be just one match. It's not going to just end at WrestleMania. The expectation is 35 to 40 dates. He wants to be a part of Raw on Netflix. He wants to be a part of the vast majority of the pay-per-views, the PLEs. So you will get Cena. So my list.
I hope he doesn't get hurt, by the way. I hate to put that
I
out
know.
there.
Me too.
Because
Me
that would
too.
ruin it.
Me too. Everything has to play out well. And Cena, I hate that you brought that up, but that point is important. I think if he is hurt, that's it. Like,
well, it depends on what it is.
Right.
Did I roll my ankle or did I tear my ACL?
Mm-hmm.
You know, did I sprain my elbow or did I get a broken neck?
A significant injury. Yeah,
he'll call it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, father time has come.
I'm sure but also he's also a freak. So, I mean, he breaks a bone in his back and comes back in a month. So, I mean,
think about
the torn pec. He was out for 2.5 months, 3 months.
Royal Rumble 2008.
Torn pec off the bone.
He was supposed to be out for like 7 or 8 months.
Cody missed 10 months. And this dude, he wrestled a match that torn pec, and still it took forever.
And
this guy came back in fucking literally like 2.5, 3 months, and then won the match.
And Jim Ross, God bless JR, he's one of the all-time greats. JR had an amazing call when Cena came back out to that Royal Rumble, because I don't even know if the announcers knew. Maybe they did. Maybe JR is that great in terms of hiding surprises, but...
See, I wouldn't want to know.
I wouldn't either.
Like Pat does now. It's like, don't tell me shit. I just want to fly my private jet up there. I want to charter that thing. I want to get in. I want to call the shit, and I want to leave.
Samantha Irving talked about that. Like, she does not want to know the finishes. She doesn't want to know who's going to win. Like, you even heard her voice when Drew McIntyre cashed in. Like, the shock in her voice as a fan. Like, it's about to happen. Mm-hmm. You know, so... All right, here we go. My top Cena matches of 2025. And I was fumbling on a few of these. I didn't fumble on Mania. So, Mania, I have him facing Cody. And I think the reason why, I think Cody's going to lose the championship to The Rock at the Rumble.
That wouldn't be a Mania match?
I think they're going to go ahead and push for Rock and Roman at Mania.
Oh, God.
I think you're going to see the Survivor Series kind of thing. Whatever, that may be the case. But I think Cena, kind of a face of the company, passing of the torch kind of match. I have facing Cody at WrestleMania. It will not be for a championship. We assume that Cena announced he's going to fight in the Royal Rumble match. If he loses that, he'll fight in the Elimination Chamber. It's going to probably come up short in that, too. I think the world title match will be preoccupied somehow. So I think you get Cena and Cody at WrestleMania. And that'll be a good response, too, for Cody. He'll be in another big-time spotlight match. It's Cena's final WrestleMania match. And for Cody to get that spotlight, we'll see. But again, that comes in light of Cody dropping the championship, which I think will happen at the Royal Rumble. SummerSlam 2025. Not this year, obviously. Next year. I think that Wyatt Six story, which is already cooking now. We didn't even have time to talk about it today, but...
Also love Bo showing up.
Bo showing up in the locker room, wondering how that meeting's...
Just in Adam Pearce's office, just sitting there, just kind of hanging out.
Cena and Bray Wyatt have extensive history.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the pandemic WrestleMania, a couple good things came out of that WrestleMania. One of them was Cena and Bray Wyatt.
To some people.
And to this I try to...
pander to the...
I try not to remember much of that. I thought it was well told, though, right? The story was about John Cena embracing his past. Who are you? Who exactly is John Cena? And I think there might be a deep feud here where Bray was trying to figure out who John Cena is. John Cena went off and to be this Hollywood guy. Is John Cena really the good guy that he projects himself to be? Bo Dallas by this point, or whatever his name will be, maybe it's Bo Wyatt, but whatever it could be.
Just rolls off the tongue a little bit better, doesn't it?
I mean, it kind of does.
Fucking Bo Dallas.
Imagine a spotlight that would be put on Bo being this type of match with John Cena at SummerSlam, I think that would be a great opportunity for Bo, and I think the story would align for that. But also, I don't know if the Wyatt Six will play off as heels or not. And in the Triple H WWE, that kind of really doesn't matter. It's more of personality versus personality, and we'll kind of see how that plays out. The last match, the retirement match. I went heavily back and forth on this. I was leaning Randy Orton. I was thinking maybe younger guy. I was thinking Braun Breaker. I think Cena will face Braun Breaker at some point during the year in some kind of a big time feud. But for the retirement match, I have CM Punk. In my opinion, John Cena's greatest rival was CM Punk. In my opinion, and I'm going to lay this out here.
It's close, but I get why you're doing it.
I'm going to lay this out. This is not going to be the CM Punk who's on television right now. This is not the babyface CM Punk.
Well, he's kind of being an asshole, but I get what you're saying.
This is what we're kind of seeing now. This is going to be the CM Punk who's only in WWE to make money. This is the CM Punk that anti-Punk fans will hate. The one who's not the ideal company guy, who's not going to fall in line with everybody else. I understand the respect factor and everything of sorts. But I think what CM Punk talked about, and maybe he was trying to offer a sales pitch to the public, but I think it's true. Cena has always been Superman. CM Punk, his brand has been Batman. And
he's like, you can like Superman. Superman's pretty cool. He's got powers. But then there's Batman.
Yeah, there's Batman. So I think out of all the opponents, if you make a case for Randy Orton, I'm not gonna, whatever. I should say whatever. That's me dismissing it. I'll very much listen to it, and boom, there it is. I would have said Edge, but he's not there.
Yeah, so Edge is, for me, his greatest rival.
I would have said Edge, but Edge is not there.
And that's fine.
So if you take Edge out of the equation, you take Adam out of the equation.
How long is his contract? Can he be back?
Oh, no. Adam can't compete anyway.
By that time, Triple H will do an angle where he buys AEW, and then he'll be able to...
Oh, yeah. Then he'll face the Elite.
I could not want to watch the match more.
But, I mean, you could, again, Randy Orton is another one you could go with. You could go with a young guy, but I think here a hated CM Punk by Survivor Series 2025. Cena puts him away.
Bad blood.
Cena, could be bad blood.
Yeah, maybe.
Cena beats Punk. I have that match being for the world title. I have that match where Cena retires with championship number 17. After a full year of coming close to competing for the 17th championship, he finally gets it away from CM Punk. So I have Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 25 or 2025, Bo Dallas at SummerSlam of 2025, and the retirement match, John Cena against CM Punk.
I have amendments.
Thoughts?
So...
Oh, before you go, you guys also can weigh in on our social media platforms. New Instagram, by the way. Follow before we're shut down.
It's taken down completely.
Side Hustle Podcast 216.
So I like the names. I do. What I would do first is flip Bo Dallas and Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
I think Cody's still going to have the title going into WrestleMania. I think that was kind of the point about his story is now he's got to let it go. I think you will get Rock and Roman. I don't know who's going to face Cody at Mania, but I don't know if it's going to be one of those two. It may not be at that point. I think Bo makes a lot more sense for a WrestleMania match because you want him to get over in the biggest way possible in front of the most eyes, and WrestleMania would be that.
In my story of Cena and Bray, that is coming off of a WrestleMania too. So I give you
can play
that.
it up. I get both good names. Last match being CM Punk, I don't like. Because what does Punk gain from losing to John Cena in your scenario at Survivor Series while losing the title in the lead up to Royal Rumble and WrestleMania? As a heel, not as a face, but as a heel. Because a face, he loses, he can chase, he can try and get back on top, that kind of thing. But as a heel, if he loses in that moment, there's not a lot there for him to do at that point. And Punk signed a multi-year deal. He's going to be wrestling with WWE for a little bit. I think that's a perfect spot for someone you want to bring up. Someone you want to be the next guy or be one of the next guys. You throw Braun Breaker's name out there. I have two names that would make a lot of sense for that match. One you could probably guess is Carmelo Hayes. At that point in time, I'm thinking Melo is a main eventer. He is in the title picture or has won a secondary title. Maybe it is the U.S. title and Cena is, like, hey, I want to try and get one more. Maybe he didn't get the world title before or whatever it was. He's like, you know what? I want that. I have some of my best days with my U.S. title. I have one of the best U.S. champions of all time. And it so happens it's against one of these kids that's coming up. You got a lot of spunk, kid. Whatever you can do, whatever the bullshit. The other one is Trick Williams. You want to make somebody, have him retire John Cena. Don't make the same mistake Kurt Angle did with Baron Corbin, where it's someone that he's already gotten as over as he's going to get, at least in his current incarnation. He was a main eventer. He was on that world championship level for a little bit, even down in NXT 2 for a little while, but he's never going to be that guy. We all think Trick is going to be that guy. He's got the charisma, he's got the moveset, he's got the ability to draw people in, the aura, all that stuff, especially with now his NXT future looking a little murky. When's this call-up going to happen? Maybe after SummerSlam. Now people are saying it's pretty close. It gives him pretty much a full year plus on the main roster to kind of earn his keep, get to a spot, kind of like where LA Knight was at, where it's okay, he's been here for 9 months, he's super fucking over. What do we do with him? John, what do you think? I like those two names. Braun's another name that makes a lot of sense. I don't like one of the older guys in his retirement match. I think he will face CM Punk. He will face Randy Orton. He will face some of these guys. There's a lot of PLEs. There's one per month. Those Saudi shows, he's going to need someone to fight. Those are big ticket shows where they can play up the whole big old school rivalry. Hey, we're going to run it back one more time. There doesn't have to be a story for those older guys.
So do you think... I think we're conflicted on the last match, on what...
You could even do both for the last match if you wanted to, because you're trying to build him for the future.
I think we're conflicted on what we see, what the retirement match.
I don't think
what we want the retirement match to be.
I think so when John started...
What does... First of all, will John be able to does John want to handpick his last opponent?
I would imagine.
I don't know if he does.
So again, story-wise, again, with the Punk thing, if what happens, he's going in as World Heavyweight Champion, he's a heel, then he beats John Cena in that match. And retires, because you can't have a heel lose.
That's right. Well,
in late November, and then go into so what does he do now?
Punk in particular, I only disagree because disgruntled Punk could work. Disgruntled Punk, we've seen it and he left under bad, circumstances, but disgruntled Punk can work.
Well, Cena's going to vacate the title then right away because he's retiring.
Exactly.
So then what? So he lost the title to a guy, and now he's going to go back into a tournament to try and win it back? It's like, you can do it, but it feels weird. I don't know.
It's the world. It would be the world. It's the World Heavyweight Championship. It's not the Undisputed Championship.
Listen, that's the money title once they move to Netflix. That's a $5 billion title now. You could say what you want about USA.
It could be, but all they might do is, well, they're not going to, but they could just flip, but they're not going to. All I'm saying is this: I think
USA be pissed. Cody just goes to Raw.
I think the fans are pissed that USA Network cut off. Never mind.
He used to 3-hour SmackDowns.
No, here's the funny thing. people are bitching about Fox. They're like, can't wait for SmackDown to go to USA. And then the very next week,
USA does the same thing.
Can't wait for Raw to go to Netflix. Can't wait.
Well, if you don't see live sex on Netflix, you're going to tell them to go to HBO Max, right?
Man, Max needs something.
Max.
I think ultimately, right. I think ultimately,
the names we're thinking of are, I think, correct.
But
it's just the order in which we do it.
Here's the cool thing about this entire retirement tour. I personally believe he will face all these guys at some point. Every name that we have mentioned in this segment, hopefully Trick Williams is included in that too.
I think he'll be there by then.
He will face. It's just a matter of when. It's a matter of, how the story is put together. I'm sure, obviously, they're working. I believe that Triple H and John Cena, they're writing the story right now.
Oh, of course.
They're writing the story right now.
Yeah.
How do they want John Cena 2025 to look?
Do they do a callback? And does his last match happen with Kurt Angle? I mean, that's a thing, too.
I don't know if Kurt Angle can wrestle anymore.
One match against a safe Cena, I think he could probably get away with it.
I don't know if he can anymore. He has so many...
He's in great shape.
Well, physically, he's in great shape.
He also hasn't wrestled in a couple of years.
I think the problem is,
the next stuff. But
yeah, I don't know if he can wrestle.
But again, if you're going to wrestle with somebody...
It would be nice if Kurt Angle's, involved,
If you're going to wrestle with somebody, you could do it with Cena because he's safe. He's never hurt anybody.
Well, yeah, I'm just... I mean,
it's...
Again, they're gonna write this out. For the purpose of this segment, I just think we are conflicted in terms of how the retirement match is gonna go.
Well, it depends. Is he giving back or is it about him?
But here's the thing: I think Cena's done a lot of giving back. I think Cena's gonna do a ton of giving back during this farewell tour. I don't think he needs to do it in his last match. I think his last match, because this is not the same as Ric Flair 2000. When did he retire? 2008
or 8, yeah.
When he faced Shawn Michaels.
Because Ric Flair wrestled again.
This is not too many times.
Yeah.
He might be wrestling tomorrow.
Well, what Cena's done, he's done. He said he's not going to compete anymore.
This is not a situation in WWE world where the next time Ric Flair loses, he's out of the company. Cena can eat L's. That's not a problem throughout 2025. He could easily lose to Bo Dallas. I expect him to lose to Bo Dallas. He could lose to Cody. I expect that. The names you mentioned, Trick, Brian Breaker, he's going to put those guys over. But Cena at some point's got to get his too on the way out the door. It can't be a situation where Cena in 2025 is taking L's the entire year.
But here's the thing. So who should Cena beat out of those guys? Because if you think about even Punk still in the prime, he's wrestling full time. Randy Orton still kind of in that prime, still wrestling full time. A lot of these guys in their primes wrestling full time. He's not doing this full time. So honestly, you can make the case Cena should lose all of his matches because he hasn't done this in 6-7 years at that level consistently.
But if
he's going to start out the year and he may not win a match for his first 4 or 5 months because he just doesn't. It's going to be multi-man matches like the Elimination Chamber and Royal Rumble. But it's going to be this stuff.
But that's different between if you don't get the job done at the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. That's different. Then he cannot lose all of these singles matches. But again,
he's lost 5 straight years. He hasn't won shit. He won a tag team match and he was like, "Oh my god!"
I understand that, but. That's cool if it's John Cena in March and April. If it's John Cena in July and he hasn't won a match, it would be a little trick. My point is, they're working on this now. We have 6 months to dissect John Cena 2025 before it even starts. And then we have another year, basically, before it all counts down.
Well, we'll see what the stories could change, too, man. It's the one thing we talked about this every week with WWE. If a story presents itself that's more appealing, that's going to draw more views, that's going to get the crowd ready, they'll move. They'll shift. So any of these names could change just based off what's going on with storyline with John, too. He could be in the Elimination Chamber with 5 other guys, and for some reason he clicks with one of them. And it's we need to see that. Because everyone was like, holy shit, those two. I mean, We don't know. I mean, so
that
that's
happened with Punk and McIntyre.
Yeah,
That's exactly how it started.
that wasn't supposed to be a thing.
I
It's
mean,
supposed to be Seth and Drew. Or Seth and Punk. Rather.
and
So,
now we want to see Punk and McIntyre go. But again, congrats to John Cena. Well, I was almost joking. He used to show up at AEW, but he's used to having fans, and never mind.
Yeah.
Kyle's supposed to. I guess you kind of did put your list together a little bit.
Yeah.
So you have, I think it's your retirement match. You said
If I had to give it to one person right now, I would give it to Mello.
Okay.
I think especially at this performance at Money in the Bank, I know he's going to keep trending in that direction. I look at this as John having mixed results throughout the year, and this being a chance to do one final thing. It's kind of like The Undertaker. He wishes he would have let Bray have that spot where he beat him at WrestleMania, and this is a big deal. John's done. He's not coming back in a year to wrestle again. He's not going to pull an Undertaker and keep showing up randomly in wrestling.
Not going to pull a Mick Foley.
This is it. And John's a man of his word. We know that. It's part of his moral thing. He's like, if I say something, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So this is possibly, when it comes to WWE, the biggest spot for someone. It could be. If there's someone who is like hanging on that upper mid card, that's like, man.
I don't know if I'm 100% sold on Mello being in that spot.
Mello may already be too big for it. I don't know.
You could talk me into Trick Williams.
I think Trick is a name that's interesting. We'll see where Braun is at that point too. Other names, even Gunther's already so over to the point where it's like, I don't really think we need to see that.
And he might be world champion in a couple of weeks.
Exactly. So it's you want to try and keep that spot to make somebody. I think especially with Triple H's and their mindset of like with Cody. With Roman, we're going to make Cody. Cody's already super over. This is going to be his crying achievement. He's the next guy. You kind of want to position that because beating John in his WrestleMania match, or his retirement match, is kind of like getting a championship.
Yeah.
I retired a guy
that's up there with beating the streak with The Undertaker.
This guy was the face of the company. It's like if Hogan did a full-on retirement match, and they gave it to Brad or Sean.
Let me add one other quick thing before we move on to rapid fire. Because I've seen this mistake happen opposite ends. I've watched Bryan Danielson at AEW. He has a retirement tour right now, obviously, from the full-time roster. And he's putting on spotlight matches. But when they're good, they're not following up. And, there's no reason why he should have not had a rematch with Will Ospreay. No reason. No reason at all. But they just flat out dropped the storyline. I mean, we don't need to go through that song and dance, but they did. Meanwhile, on the other side, Brock Lesnar, while not a retirement tour, obviously, but 2012, part-time schedule, he's only available for, 4 pay-per-views a year back then. What I don't want to see, okay, cool. His first match was against John Cena. It was great. It was a massacre. I think Brock should have won that match, but they gave it to Cena. I don't want the next 3 matches to be against Triple H, right? So, all right, if Cena finds something good with a young guy or something with even a vet, if there's something there, all right, cool. 1 rematch, cool, that's great. But I don't want a story to last. Like if Bo Dallas, if it all works out, right? All right, the story could last for a month or 2. I don't need the story to last an entire winter season. You have to, in your 40 dates, those 40 dates are going to come up fast. So,
well, again, you also pointed this out too. He's not going to wrestle every one of those dates. He's just going to appear.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be Raws, whatever, where it's a build through the story. He may only have a handful of people in mind that he's actually going to wrestle in one-on-one matches. He'll have his Royal Rumble match. He'll have probably his Elimination Chamber match. But after that, it's going to be a lot of just one-on-one, I would imagine. So to be in that category, I imagine they want to tell some really good stories. And, I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time. So you may only get 3 or 4, maybe 5 solo matches for Cena through the rest of the year.
And that's a good point. For these young wrestlers, for even CM Punk, even Randy Orton, they all value. They know how big this is.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be involved in one of those 5 matches, these next 6 months, you need to show out. You need to show out in the ring, in storytelling. All of that needs to happen, because you can be knocked out of that and not get that spot. All right, it is time for rapid fire. So we put a close.
Do I stick to the 3 words or less again, or what?
You can give it a shot. I don't know how well it went last week.
Well, you demand me to talk more, and I'm just like, hey, I want to try and like challenge myself and be creative, and you're like, no.
Well, I want you to talk about this guy. This is Joe Tessitore. Joe Tessitore. Even if you're not a football fan or a boxing fan, you know his voice. Joe Tessitore did some work on Monday Night Football for a couple years. He's involved with ESPN College Football. He also does their boxing for Top Rank. And even if you're not a sports fan, if you've ever watched the show Holy Moly, he was, I don't know if the show's still on the air, but he was one of the hosts of Holy Moly. Joe Tessitore.
By the way.
Huh?
It's not, by the way, but yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't watch. Yes. But Joe Tessitore announced as joining the WWE broadcasting team. He will be joining Wade Barrett and Corey Graves on television later this summer. You're not a fan of this move.
So let me preface this by saying that I think Joe Tessitore is great. Like, he's a great announcer. He's got a great track record. He's a fan of WWE. Let me also say that we've seen this before with a lot of the guys they brought in that weren't either workers in the business before or have some sort of background in wrestling, and it doesn't work. Like, a lot of these guys. I think Jimmy Smith was like the last guy they brought in that he had boxing or MMA experience too, and he didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
He deferred to Corey all the time.
Yeah.
Like, all the time.
You made a good point that obviously Michael Cole is getting up there in age, and he's thinking about possibly walking away in the next few years. And Corey's obviously the successor. He's going to be the next play-by-play guy unless he starts getting back in the ring, which who knows. Maybe against Pat. I'd love to see that. But nevertheless, he's hilarious. But
he got a little physical there with Seth. I like that.
He did. So, but now the question is, who's going to be that other guy? Because Michael can't. I mean, you could call both shows, and Corey Graves is young, so he could probably do both. But he's got a young family and stuff too, and he wants to be around. And I mean, so the question then becomes, who is going to be that other guy? So obviously, your eyes are peeled. You're looking around. You're seeing who's available. I wish Joe nothing but the best. I give it about a year.
Yeah, look,
and I'm being generous.
I understand. I mean, it's not
because he is really good at what he does, and he's a professional, but.
An outsider, even with legitimate professional play-by-play experience, the track record is not favorable. But the problem has been in WWE, the track record hasn't been favorable for any play-by-play announcer. I mean,
well, JR was always he was in
since Michael Cole.
Remember he came in and was basically the interviewer first.
He did backstage.
He worked his way up, learning the process, learning backstage before being thrown on TV in the main announcer role on SmackDown.
And Michael Cole,
it's a wartime reporter. He's used to being stressed out.
Look, and I understand. This is not a shot at Michael Cole. He deserves the flowers that he's getting. But longtime fans do remember Michael Cole was not, when Vince was in his ear, that was not the Michael Cole you see today.
Nope.
Not even close. Put a tape in of Monday Night Raw from 2010 and try to get through 20 minutes. Compared to now, listen to Michael Cole and tell me that that's the same guy.
I think ideally for them.
But they need a second guy.
I don't know. Do you? Is Corey willing to do it?
You don't want to run Corey into the ground.
Well, again, now we're not talking about announcing before they would travel, too. So it'd be 5-6 days a week. It's 2 shows a week. And then the pay-per-views.
I think the difference, though, here. A
lot of prep work and stuff, but Corey's been around. He knows
Well, the difference, maybe Tessitore has a chance. Because they have a different director now.
Yeah.
It's not Kevin Dunn in there. It's not... I know, like, Kevin Patrick yeah, Triple H took over, but he was still trained by Vince, still trained by like Tess is going to be trained as a sports guy try to do storytelling. And again, the producer is a former ESPN producer. So
they probably have a relationship, I would imagine.
They have a relationship. Yeah. Nick Khan
was his agent or whatever it was.
Listen,
I hope it works, but I just don't know, man.
The track record's not there. You are 100% right. The track record is not there. But what you hope for is with Tess, hey, this is a fresh start. I kind of don't like that they sacrificed Corey Graves. I think Corey Graves is outstanding.
Doing a great job.
I think he's doing a phenomenal job as the play-by-play voice of SmackDown. But that move, this move honestly tells me that Michael Cole is much closer to full-time retirement than we think.
I think his probably plan would be, hey, the next year and a half, 2 years.
So you have got to find somebody.
Or if it doesn't work, it's because he didn't do as well as we wanted him to, and Corey says I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Which if he can, great. I mean, that's you can have your color guys that can be Wade. It could be Wade Barrett or whoever. It could be those are obviously more interchangeable. Mm-hmm. Insert wrestler here essentially they could do that, or former wrestler or whatever personality. But your play-by-play guy's got to have that voice, and Corey's got it. We know Cole has it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if Joe has it yet.
I think Joe has the voice. My criticism of Joe Tess during football games. I think sometimes he actually goes into a little bit of the dramatics, a little bit too much. It's a little bit forced.
He's going into sports entertainment, so that's
sports entertainment, it has to be forced a little bit.
We'll see.
Best case scenario, Joe Tess is better than Excalibur.
Not saying much.
I mean, that is best case scenario.
Take off your fucking mask. Sorry.
All right. Let's fly through some of these other ones here. Are you sold on Solo Sikoa as the main event of SummerSlam? Solo versus Cody Rhodes, main event of SummerSlam.
3 words or less, right?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Solo did the thing.
He did.
Did the thing.
Looked good. Playing his role perfect.
I don't want you to... Okay, fine. Do the 3 words here, but I do want you to expand here. Braun Breaker took the L against Sami Zayn.
We were both shocked.
We were both shocked, and honestly, I personally did not like the direction that match was. I get the story that they're telling with Sami.
I'm not the underdog. I'm the champion, right?
Don't like it. Braun should have got that belt.
He'll get it at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I guess that's what they're pointing to, but...
It'll be some stupid-ass match, like a cage match or something like that or whatever. I mean, they'll do something to make it more special. But
what they have to show here in this build, if they're going for the rematch, can Braun Breaker add even more weapons to his moveset? Like, what's...
The match was great. He was throwing some shit out there we hadn't seen since NXT. Which is
right,
nice.
right. I guess I'm trying to justify why Braun Breaker lost.
Bigger stage.
To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, to me, he's your unstoppable guy.
Well, so then who does he face at SummerSlam then? You're in a spot where it's a short build instead of having a bigger story with Sami. I get why they did it now, hindsight being 2020. In the moment, I was just as pissed as you. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Sami could have got a rematch.
Yeah.
Could have.
But no one does anymore. They don't do automatic rematches.
They don't, but Sami could have, talked his way into it or something. But
no, if he loses the title, he's going to probably be off TV for a little bit because he may kill him.
He go put a hurting on him. 2 more questions. I'm going to jump to one you suggested to last. Thoughts on the sports-like presentation of WWE PLEs? Meaning, the pre-show now is more sports-like focus, but the post-show, where as opposed to them going to like the recap video, they went right backstage. Drew McIntyre comes out and does the whole thing, and the story continues. They send it to... they interview Solo like it was inside the NBA, the headset. He had the perfect 1-word answer, 2-word answer. In that transition, they did a bunch of sports-like things in that post-show. Your thoughts on the new presentation of WWE pay-per-views?
I thought AEW was supposed to be the sports-based production that was.
Yeah.
No, they just exist. No, yeah, that's. I'm open to new things, to trying new things, seeing if they work, seeing if they stick. I was a fan of the press conferences being by themselves, but having a panel there, giving people some work, and being able to kind of react and reflect on certain things is kind of cool too. It's nice, and then obviously having the little interviews here and there with some people that are walking about, whatever it is. I mean, it was nice. It played into obviously building Drew's story too, with that whole thing with elbowing Adam Pearce in the chin. So I mean, I have no problems at all. I like it.
I love it. I like the idea. Okay, if you're a casual WWE fan and you don't want to watch it, that's fine. But it gives the hardcore fan, like if you watch all the social media stuff, like it gives the hardcore fan, it gives them a little bit more. Like it makes sense too, because it's like if you're in a heated battle, you don't just have the heated battle and then go home. You know, like Drew McIntyre has just lost a world championship opportunity again because of CM Punk.
Third time.
Drew McIntyre's not gonna just go home. You know, he's gonna act out on it, and it makes
He's gonna
sense.
change into jeans and come out shirtless and start smacking people around.
Start smacking people around. If by the way, if you want a little detail, watch that video again that they rotate on social media with Drew McIntyre coming out. Look at the sign that's from the fan from the escalator coming down. Notice how the camera zooms in on said sign. Tell me what that sign is. It might connect to what you saw at the end of NXT, the pay-per-view. Whew. Finally, speaking of NXT.
No one's going to get that but us, but that's fine.
Speaking of NXT, you had a thought about Ethan Page. Ethan Page, first off, a great Fatal 4-Way match. Great story, too, of Trick Williams basically almost seemingly trying to prevent Javon Evans.
It's his buddy that he was trying to like not hurt him.
Yeah.
And trying to like just attack Shawn Spears and Ethan Page, and it got to the point where he had no choice.
Yeah.
And then he decided to throw his ass through a fucking table.
That table. He ate the.
He's a tiny guy too. That had to hurt a little bit.
And then Ethan Page
fell into a championship.
You mentioned something as we was prepping for the show this week about the vision of Ethan Page in NXT compared to the mismanagement of Ethan Page at AEW.
I mean, it was something he even said. Came out in an interview recently and said, like, yeah, I could have sat off TV and catering for 3 more years and, retired and done something else, or I could bet on myself and take a chance at a new place, and hopefully they know how to use me. And he applauded, obviously, he called it a machine because it is, but, like, it's, the organization and we're thinking about you. Here's what we have planned, that kind of thing. Not having to do it all yourself and come up with your own things, only to have it changed last minute by a guy who doesn't even know wrestling. Tony Khan has no idea what he's doing. So, like, this is different. Shawn Michaels has main evented multiple WrestleManias. He's been on the biggest stages and actually been there in the ring and done it. He knows what works and what doesn't, whether you like him or not, with your history with him or not, whatever it is. You could always say.
And William Regal's back there too.
Yeah, couple pretty good eyes. And shocker, they're actually using William Regal to help, book talent and give advice and all that stuff. It's crazy how that works. But, like, yeah. I mean, it just shows. Ethan Page went from a lower mid-card afterthought on AEW to NXT champion. Like that.
Yeah, he did.
And he looks damn good in NXT. Like, he's getting promo time. He can cut a great fucking promo. He's actually a pretty good wrestler in the ring, too, and he's only 34. So we're talking about one of those guys that can maybe make some waves, come up, be in that upper mid-card, maybe if he gets over enough, can possibly get into that main event scene. He's another one. Makes a lot of sense.
Could be somebody you look at the draft next year. I lied. I have one more question. It was something I teased all the way at the start of the show. So what now for the Judgment Day? Because now you have...
We're going to burn Utica to the ground.
I mean, what now for the Judgment Day? Because Damian Priest called up Rhea Ripley. Rhea showed up, obviously upset at Dominic Mysterio. But there are different angles to this. If you watch the social media with WWE, Liv Morgan, a little crack in the smile. Yeah, this is all going according to plan. But whose plan? Who's in the operations of said plan? Where does Finn Balor fit in all of this? Why was Liv Morgan? I go back to what happened a few months ago. What was Finn Balor and Liv Morgan doing in that car?
Smoke weed every day. I
Every
said I smoke
day.
her out. She said okay. All right.
What was going on there? while Liv Morgan was pursuing Dominic Mysterio, is she actually messing around with Finn Balor?
I told you that theory that some people had that, like, hey, this has been brewing since 2022 before Finn joined Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had a plan to take it over at some point.
It is Finn looking at Priest and is like, bruh, who are you? And he's ready to become the leader.
Long story. We'll see what happens. I don't think it ends at SummerSlam. I think it's going to keep going.
It's going to keep rolling and rolling and rolling.
It's going to Limp Bizkit its way all the way to WrestleMania.
And Carlito will continue to challenge Sami Zayn as the funniest guy in WWE when put in a group. And R-Truth.
That's cool.
I guess that'll be Sami Zayn 2022, R-Truth earlier this year, or 2023, Carlito 2024. We found our comedy guys.
I thought we found our president, vice president, and secretary of state. Carlito.
How about that?
He can't be president because he wasn't born here, but it's fine.
Ridge Road exit off of Interstate 480.
Carlito. Oh, B.A. Sweetie, sorry.
Make a left on Brook Park Road. And there's the address, 6770 Brook Park Road in Cleveland, Ohio. The Giant Lollipops. Just drive right on in and enjoy the largest candy store in North America. And Northeast Ohio, technically. I mean, that part's not wrong.
Well, it covers both.
But it covers everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the.
You just don't want to shortchange our friends at BA Sweetie.
Yeah, that's the micro target, and that's the macro target.
You don't want to Anthony Alford, our our friends over at BA Sweetie, and shortchange them.
No.
Hey.
Hey. So check them out. Check our friends out over there as well. And if you like to be promoted, you come right on over. Follow us on the socials.
Come on, Slothy. Damn it. All right, hold on.
No, that's not the Side Hustle Pod 216 on TikTok. Side Hustle Podcast
Your elbow's in the way.
216. The chair's still there. But Side Hustle Podcast 216 on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That page just opened up. And, of course, our full shows are on YouTube and highlights at Side Hustle Podcast 216. And, of course, follow LPV Productions. LPV Productions, INC.
Oh, whoa. He put his hood up by himself. That's creepy. All right, we probably should go before.
8079. And on the LPV production pages, that's where you'll find the Side Hustle Podcast putting the beat down on Voice of the Land on Putt Putt from B.A. Sweeties.
You put the hood up so you know it's real now.
Oh, this is real deal. All right.
It's round two. It's not fair.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next week. And at some point, we'll do our Let's Fix It on John Moxley.
We're pivoting because Double A decided to have a show meeting in the middle of one of our podcasts. So Austin Theory is now next month, and John Moxley will be this month, coming out in a little bit, a couple weeks probably. We'll keep you guys posted on that too. So,
all right, that's our show for this week. Loaded show. I don't even think we covered everything, but a lot of important stuff happened this week. So,
can I do my favorite sign off? It's not the Aloha thing. It's actually something different.
Oh, what is it?
So, another friend of the program, Jim Cornette, who everyone in our friend group circle loves, has a way he likes to sign off of his podcast.
Okay.
And I like to do that today, too.
Go ahead.
So thank you all for watching. Fuck you. Bye-bye. And scene.
That'll be like when the titles come up on YouTube.